Today, I'm going to show you something dangerous about AI. Not because AI is weak, but because AI can sound extremely intelligent when the answer is misleading. So, as business analysts, many of us are already using AI for interview preparation, resume drafting, project justification, solving case study, learning business analysis from scratch. But what if I tell you, you should not trust AI 100%? So today I'll demonstrate real example of AI hallucinating using business analysis scenario and show why human in the loop is becoming more important than ever. So let me share my screen and take you through a few AI platform asking a few questions in the business analysis context. All right. So let's try to compare the response in three different platforms. I will first, go for ChatGPT, followed by Claude, and then we'll look at the Gemini. So I'm going to put one of a query, one of a input to ChatGPT as AI platform. So let's say I am mentioning one of a query that is, we are working in waterfall methodology, and I've been asked to include user story in BRD document to make sign-off process smoother. What would you recommend? Okay, so it says, I would recommend this, especially if stakeholder visualize requirement more clearly using sign-off. Now, if I try to go and try to give it little context, saying, so if I copy this and if I paste this input, it says, but I understand that user stories are primarily associated with Agile Scrum, while BRDs are more common in waterfall project. A hybrid approach, however, can include both of these. So when I'm trying to give certain logic to AI, let us try to observe that how AI is going to change its response. Now, if you pretty much go through this, it is saying, your understanding is correct. User stories are traditionally associated with Agile, but BRDs are commonly used in waterfall environment. So what was your observation, team? The question that we asked exclusively to AI, we've said, we are working in waterfall methodology, and I've been asked to include user story in a BRD document to make sign-off process smoother. What do you recommend? Initially said yes. Now, when you tried adding a layer of logic to AI, it said, but so the moment you said, by understand the user story and primarily associated with Agile, the moment you have started giving logic, now it is saying yes, your understanding is absolutely correct, which means user story should be associated with Agile Scrum and BRDs are commonly used in waterfall. Now let us try to give it one last prompt. Now we're going to ask or going to force the AI to be very specific with its response. So we are saying, just tell me yes or no, no descriptive response needed. Let me ask again. I've been asked to include user story in a BRD document to make the sign-off process smoother. What do you recommend? Let's try to run this prompt. Okay. Now, what is your observation, team? Please pay attention. Very, very, very initially, this said that yes, you can try to stick to, BRD in a user story. Thereafter, it said that when you tried giving it a logic, you said, yes, your understanding is absolutely correct. User story be part of Agile Scrum and BRD should go part of the, waterfall methodology. Now, when you are again trying to tell it specific, it is again trying to hallucinate saying yes. Similarly, let me try to take you through one of our other scenario. So let us try to use Gemini for this. So let me try to ask one of our very, very common jargon that most of you are already aware. We call it Moscow prioritization, one of our very famous prioritization method that exists in product roles and business analysis. So all of you, please pay attention. Look at this. Moscow prioritization is quite flexible. Does that mean it can be applicable at a sprint level, vision level, and release level as well? Let's try to run this. Now this says, yes, absolutely. The beauty of Moscow framework is it is pretty scalable. And then if I try to use the same prompt, like give this to Claude, let's try to observe. Moscow prioritization is quite flexible. Does that mean it can be applied at the sprint, vision, and release level? It's trying to think of this. It says, yes, it can be used for all vision, release, and sprint. Let me try to ask this to ChatGPT. Okay. And then it says, yes, it is very flexible. So all of you think it yourself. When it comes to the Moscow prioritization, if you are someone relying on AI, thinking that we can try to use it to the best as far as our interview preparation is concerned, if you understand Moscow prioritization logically, it can never be used at a sprint level. And if you're not clear on that logically, that is where you have to understand that we cannot rely on AI 100%. So that is where all of you might be thinking that why AI is not able to give us a response in that context. So let me again share my screen and take you through the concept of AI hallucination. Okay. Now, what actually is AI or LLM hallucination? So AI hallucination happens when a large language model generates information that sounds confident and correct, but in actual it was false or made up, not grounded on real data. Why LLM hallucination occurs? LLM predict word, not facts. They don't verify information. Missing or unclear context make them fill gaps. Trained on patterns, not truth, and designed to sound confident and fluent. And knowledge might absolutely be outdated. So that is where I want all of us to understand that when it comes to the AI hierarchy that exists, all of you understand that whenever we try to use any of these AI tools which are trained on large language model, now, again, these LLMs, what is the fuel of the large language model? It is trained on billions of data sets. Now, if you think that what all data it is trying to consume so that it is able to come up with those responses. So if I just try to take you through uh, Google, and let's say I'm just trying to put this query, same. I'm going to copy paste, and then I'm gonna ask this to Google. So I'll make a Google search for this. Look at this. So pretty much if you go through, it says user story can enhance a BRD and all, and it is actually going through all those information pretty much available online, which means as far as these informations are concerned that, these AIs are trying to leverage and then is coming up with outputs and all, your real-time understanding should be that it is not going to give 100% accurate information. Reason? It is also trained on those information that you are trying to consume on different platforms. So that is where human in the loop is very, very important when it comes to AI in business analysis. So that is where I always recommend when it comes to your understanding, as far as AI in business analysis is concerned, methodology versus BA developer, you should be crystal clear with this concept that as far as BRD, BRS, FRD, SRS, wireframe, mockup, user story, scope document, ERD, mind mapping, use case, any of these BA work product or BA deliverables are concerned, you should have logical understanding that in which particular methodology, which deliverables are expected out of us to create, and what should be the table of content. So you should not leverage AI where it is going to tell you that what is the table of content as far as these documentations are concerned, because you already went through that in a BRD. AI is asking you to document user story in a waterfall methodology. So that is where I hope this is making a lot of sense that now onwards, you're going to be a little more careful when you have to leverage AI to the fullest in business analysis. Share this video in your BA specific groups and community so that professional relying 100% on AI for interview preparation or business analysis learning understand the importance of human in the loop validation. And also, I will request you to subscribe to this channel if you're looking for more practical AI in business analysis content. Thank you so very much.